Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach, and I had to just do some writing here for a second because I'm like, I don't think this, well, I'll say this. I wanted to get through this and really do the surgery delicately on this. And I probably screwed it up, but got to try. If we think we need a projected delegate, then this delegate type name comes into play because it's what the name of the delegate's going to be. Okay. But what we're trying to say here is if we know we don't return a void and the return is it does not return void, and it's a ref-like type, then we do this one. Otherwise, we just do the one we've always expected. If it's revoid, we just do normal delegates function actions. Okay. The return type we now need to grab as the delegate type name, if in the case where it does not return void and it is a ref-like type, it would be the one that we just got up here. Otherwise, we just grab the return type name because that is what's going to be coming into here. And then down below, we also need to say for the add method, which is if it was just returning void, we'd say add. Otherwise, we'd say if the return type is a pointer, then it's one of these projected things. Otherwise, we just say add return type, which just so happens to be this delegate that we're trying to create here. Okay. So that's just what the method expectations. I believe with the property explicit, is there explicit method? There's property extensions. Interesting. We don't do, well, I guess we do. We just do it here. Whatever. Property expectations, property builder. So that the property here, well, we would probably say projected name. No, not projected. Referenceable name. I believe the delegate type name, though, would be the same as what we're doing here. Which is if the property get method requires it, then what we need to do is say for our property get. So now we can just say here, then here, here, here. We pass that in here, otherwise we pass that in here. So if we need a projected delegate, what are you barking at? There you go. Okay. Otherwise, if we don't, we just do a delegate builder. And we can say property get method, property return value. Well, this is not in the mock type. These are just the web name property. Yes. And that gives you the adornments, which allows you to say that. So we do need that in this case to be the right thing. So here we need to say what we're kind of doing over here, which is the return type needs to be something like this. Okay. What we want to say is this. If it's, well, we know we're in a getter. Okay. So we want to say if it's ref-like, then we want the delegate name. Otherwise, we just want the referenceable name. Okay. Except to do this correctly, we need the delegate type name there because we don't capture it until we do that. Okay. Setters don't matter. Setters don't return anything. So yeah, we say delegate type name, which in this case, if we would have got a return type, what am I doing? We don't need to check this. This is just if it's roughly, because we are in a getter. We know we're going to return something. Okay. So it's a little bit simpler. The property return value comes in there, which in our case, if it's ref like, we will get the delegate name, which we would have got as return value. Okay. It's a little sketchy, but hopefully it works. Okay. Then down here we say, if this is a property, is a pointer, then we need to do that. Otherwise, we do the property return value. Yep. Setters don't matter. Okay. Property expectations, property builder, indexer builder. Let's do the same thing. So let's get a property get method going here. Okay. So anywhere within the current block, place those except not here. And then we say the delegate type name is going to be something like this. Except the delegate builder is going to be the parameters. Okay. And the property return value will be done after we get the delegate type name. Okay. And then the add method just needs to be as pointer. Okay. A lot of work here. A lot more than I kind of expected. But this is why we have tests. Okay. There is explicit indexer. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the mock itself yet. Yeah, this is just writing out the, that's what's doing it way up here. We say we need the methods properties, which get product expectations, product getter expectations, and then down below we do all the ones. So I think those are going to be, we can ignore those because those are just for the type. They're not for the type to mock name. Yep, okay. Close that. We don't care about that. What we do care about is explicit indexer. Yep. Okay, except this one's got to switch back. Okay. So now we look at this. We give it the parameters. Get the property return value here. I'm not. Oh my God. And then this is pointer. Okay. Setters don't matter. Right, because setters return void. Let's get the property. Let's not do this just yet. Let's say H. And now let's put that in there. Okay. Delegate type name should be same as that. Okay. Property return value will come after delegate property name and we'll delete it from there. And then the add is his pointer. Okay. So I think we've done now. So in the mock method. This is not for void. This is only for value. Okay. Somewhere in here, we got that little logic that says build method handler validation handler name. So the method cast. Yes, the method cast can stay that way, I believe. We don't care about that. I think. Handler name is what has to change. If it's a pointer, we want to do this. But the method return type is what we have to change. So let's say if it's a pointer, we do that. But now we need to grab this and say var method return type equals, if the method return type is ref-like, well, then we're going to do string dot, and we're really not. We're going to do empty right now. Otherwise, we do a referenceable name. Okay, which is what we should have been doing. And then we put that in here. Okay, method return type. Except sort of. Okay. Yeah, so we handle information and then the generic, what's the return type? Okay. Except here, what we want it to be is get projected return value delegate name. Okay. Now, one more thing we have to say here. If, sorry, my brain melted for just a second here. Because if it's a pointer or it is not ref-like, then we do this. So if method.return type is pointer or method.return type is ref-like, not ref-like, then we do what we were always doing, which is this. Okay, that's fine. Else, we got to do it a little bit differently. Okay, we got a special case here. We cast it to that, and now the return value be invoke. Okay, because the handler will have the generic as the name of the return value delegate. So we cast the method handler to that. We get the return value, except we're going to say yep dot invoke and return that. So that's for the method value. What about the property getters? Mock property builder. This is so tricky. What do we do? To get the return value, we need to do the handler cast. Except here we're going to say property return type. If the properties get method return type as ref-like, then we need to do this. Otherwise, it's just that. Right? And then that is what we're passing in here. Okay? So we don't say as esoteric anymore, we say as pointer. Okay? And the method cast is still the same because we don't change that. We don't care about arguments. Except here we're going to change this to, we do that. Just like what we did before. You know what we should do? Let's put that up here. And then let's say property here. Just do that. And then let's say replacing this. And then let's say var property get method is equal to that. So that should take care of all those. Now we get the method name. Property get method. Okay, I think that's right. Build setter, we don't care about. Mock property builder. I think mock indexer builder is our last one. And we just call it method. Fine, whatever. Oh, we have a method handler here, right? Oh, because it's apparently just going to work. Does this even build? Okay. Does the code generation thing even work, or did we suddenly get like a ton more errors? I'm going to say we're going to get a ton more errors. I'm going to say I completely messed this up. Okay. And that there's no way that this succeeded. Two, the type or namespace property adornments for read-only span of byte cannot be found. Yeah, a lot of these are warnings that we're going to take care of. Okay, so this is a little different. This is a little different. Let's see. Go to the output compilation. Let's see what we get here. Well, we do get the right thing here. We did notice that it is a return. So let's see where this is all being used. That looks pretty correct. And then we're saying here for preamble that what you should be doing, oh, this should just be property adornments. Okay. That's why it's complaining. I bet the line number here, 1378. No, stop. Yep, it doesn't know what this is, so we're not. Okay, well, that's close. So let's go look at the method, expectations extension method. I know it's not the same thing, okay? But let's just go look at that. Because what we should be saying here is internal static return value. What is the return value? Equals the adornments type. Well, if we return void, we don't have a problem here. If it's a pointer, we return that. What's property? Expectations property builder look like? What does the return value look like? The adornments type. Don't think that's quite the same. We know we don't return anything. Okay. If we would need a pointer, then we need the projector. This is still okay. Return type is pointer. Then we do this. Otherwise we do that. Okay. And let's check the indexer. There. Now return type. Okay. Now let's see what code generation builder does. Well, it worked, at least for this. Let's grab the tree. So now when we get the preamble, ooh, crap, that's not quite right. It can compile, but the callback is not the return value. The callback is wrong because the delegate type name, yeah, it's not right because for a property, you're not going to notice, but for an indexer, you will. And same with a method. We want a callback type name and a return type. That's what we really want, I think. Yeah, I think we want to say if it's a esoteric, then we get the projected delegate name because that's the callback. This is just literally for the return value. We could probably be a little bit more specific here and say this is the projected callback delegate name. And I think that's probably one we want to do, callback. Okay. Because that's being very specific as to what it is. That gets the name, and then we generate these here. with all the parameters. Perfect. So I was wrong. Let's do the method first. Is esoteric. Then if it requires a projected delegate, then we do this. No questions asked. Otherwise, if it returns void, nope. Callback delegate type name. There. So if we are doing a projected delegate, it is this. Otherwise, if it returns void, we do that one, we do that one. Okay. The return type is not going to be this. If it returns void, then we don't have a return type, which would be wrong. We definitely, you know, that would lead to screwy code. So if it's ref-like type, what we want this to be is this. Okay. Well, not that, but what we want it to be is projected return type, return value, return whatever. There you go. Okay, and so that's going to be the return type. And that trickles all the way through. The callback is here just for, yeah, okay. So property, we want to basically do the same thing. Okay, and then we say we don't care about that. We're going to grab that, pull that there. Otherwise, we just get that. Okay, property return value is going to be this. This actually speaks a little bit better to what I was hoping for. Okay. And then the indexer is the same thing. We can do kind of the same assumption here. Grab that, get rid of that, pull that back, and then this becomes that and that. Okay. I think that speaks a lot better. Let's try running the code again. Let's see what happens. Of course, I could really screwed it up. Still 0, but let's look at the code. Copy value. So now we do the right thing. We get the callback, we get the return value. Okay. We say self.add with the return value, list argument, there are no arguments. So now we get a property endorsements of this, where that is the callback thing, that is a return value. You can set the return value to whatever you want. This is very promising. Okay, so now let's crank it up, because this should have, what this should have done is actually gotten rid of all the errors. We still have a bunch of warnings, but this should have got rid of a bunch of errors. Look at that, 0. We still have 5,000 warnings, but this is actually even a bigger, not proof, but gives me more weight that we didn't break anything that we've currently done either. Okay. So now what I want to do is let's run all the tests from Rock's tests, not from integrations, because I don't trust those just yet. Okay. Let's say run tests, and let's see what these say. And there might be a couple broken because of code generation not matching up, but we'll see what the results are. Well, that's interesting. Generate makes for base class library is actually getting 12 errors now, which, okay. I want to save this though, because I think this is, I think I have a solution for ref like return types, which this would be really cool, because we need to make an integration test to say pass in a delegate of that to say give me this thing, and I want to make sure it is exactly that thing. Okay, but let's see what base class library makes are doing, because that was a little surprising. I would have thought that make shouldn't have been broken. They do less Why would they suddenly, they just simply say default. There are no expectations. Nothing's being done that way. So why would they suddenly not work? Oh. Really? Unmanaged memory stream. I don't run into this with the create, but I do here. So if I look at my syntax trees, I'm going to have a ton of them, aren't I? Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to do one more episode. And then that one more episode, we are going to, let's get rid of this. Get rid of that. We want to handle, what is this? Unmanaged memory stream. Unmanaged memory stream as a make. What's the problem here? And then run integration tests and then add ref like return type tests. And then I think we're at the point where I have to make a decision about making a new version. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments, questions below. See you in the next episode.